So, yeah.
I hear you. All right, let's get into this segment. We're not talking about Kim, but we are talking about AI Jesus versus Jesus of Nazareth. So let's get into the video. Today, we're going to be talking about AI Jesus, the dangers of AI, as well as God's grace. Make sure you like for the algorithm. Make sure you like for the algorithm. It is time to get into it. So I watched the What Do You Mean video by a guy named John, I think it's McCrae. And he had some just very interesting, takes and information about how AI and people are worshiping it. And then I saw this one bit where there is actually a church that has created an avatar utilizing AI and allowing their members to essentially, interact with it. And so we just wanted to react to it ourselves. So here's an article by The Guardian. It says Deus in Machina, hope I'm saying that right, but it's a Swiss church installs AI-powered Jesus. It says a small unadorned church has long ranked as the oldest in Swiss city of Lucerne, but Peter's Chapel has become synonymous with all that is new after it installed an artificial intelligence-powered Jesus capable of dialoguing in 100 different languages. It was an experiment, said Marco Smith, a theologian with Peter Scapel Church. Scapel, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. We'll just say Peter Scapel. Scapel. Yeah, we'll say that. We wanted to see and understand how people react to an AI Jesus. What would they talk with him about? Would there be an interest in talking to him? We're probably pioneers in this. What do you think of that? Like it says, we wanted to see and understand how people would react to an AI Jesus.
I guess my initial reaction is why? Like, why would you want to create an AI version of Jesus? But I guess that answer would be the same reason why people created AI versions of the angels and like being able to see what an angel in the Revelation look like in real life. Yeah, my initial reaction is just like, why? And do people actually like go up to AI Jesus and tell them everything that they're going through?
Yeah.
As if they're actually talking to Jesus?
Yeah, like it's almost like it's Jesus and AI Jesus, because the other way doesn't work. AI Jesus isn't Jesus, but perhaps Jesus could be revealed, or you could be guided towards Jesus through AI Jesus, but AI Jesus is not Jesus in and of itself. And so I think when you have something that's called AI Jesus, you're just kind of confusing the masses in a sense and allowing people to interact with Jesus in a way that God didn't intend for us to interact with, Jesus and God, and in our Christian walk. And he doesn't want us to have a spiritual experience with him in that manner, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't have a spiritual experience through AI or through, anything in life, but this doesn't seem like the proper way to communicate with Jesus.
Yeah, the proper way to communicate to Jesus is through prayer and through reading the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Right here at the top, it says, after projects that had experimented with virtual and augmented realities, the church decided that the next step was to install an avatar, Smith said. We had a discussion about what kind of avatar would be a theologian, a person, or a saint. But then we realized the best figure would be Jesus himself. Like, what? Like, it would make sense that you would want Jesus to represent you, right? But you don't know what the AI is going to say or how it's going to steer people. And then to use that as the representation of Jesus, it could really confuse people, because if somebody has a negative experience or hears something that isn't I guess, theologically
actually,
sound
yeah.
with the Word of God, they could think that Jesus is something other than he is not, right? So I don't really necessarily have a problem with them utilizing AI to help further people's education or help draw people closer to God. Like I use ChatGPT to look up, Bible verses. I'll say like, give me Bible verses about this topic so I can kind of break down and see what the Bible has to say about a specific topic. But I'm not thinking that the chat or the AI is, Jesus or God itself.
I almost would be like okay with it more if they would have chose like a theologian or something.
Yeah, that would
rather
make more
than
sense.
just Jesus, because I feel like people are going to take it too far and be like, oh, I'm actually talking to Jesus. And whatever response is given through AI from AI Jesus is
almost taken as gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is that is the big problem in and of itself. So at the top here it says, people were advised not to disclose any personal information and confirm that they knew they were engaging with an avatar at their own risk. It's not a confession, said Smith. We are not intending to imitate a confession. During a 2-month period of experiment, more than 1,000 people, including Muslims and visiting tourists from as far away as China and Vietnam, took up the opportunity to interact with the avatar. While data on the installation will be presented next week, feedback from more than 230 users suggested 2/3 of them had found it to be a spiritual experiment, said Smith. So we can say they had a religious, positive moment with this AI Jesus. For me, that was surprising.
I would say, like, based off that statement, you can see that people are hungry for something. They're hungry for Jesus, but
yeah, we all have this need to worship and to encounter and engage spiritually with something. And I guess the question is, what is that something? For Christians, we engage with Christ and, God as, the Trinity. And that is drawing us and fulfilling that need that we have, that spiritual need. And I think a lot of people, they're going to embark on this journey and feel like they're still going to be thirsty, right? Because, as I believe it's in Revelation says, we will cry no more, neither will we thirst no more, because God, Jesus, through Christ, he quenches our need and our, longing for that, that spiritual longing that we have that is within us. He satisfies that for us. Others were more negative, with some telling the church they found it impossible to talk to a machine. One local reporter who tried out the device described the answers as, at times, trite, repetitive, and exuding a wisdom reminiscent of calendar cliches. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the downfall. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. Is the AI going to go super deep, or is it just going to give you like, a super cliche thing, like only God can judge you, something like that. But yeah, AI can be dangerous in that sense, because, you never know what type of experience you're going to get. And as you see, some people are having, negative experiences. And so
I have noticed how AI bots are slowly replacing human companions.
Sorry. All right. So now we get to the dangers of, AI as Christians. There's in that John, or What Do You Mean video, he goes over a situation that went viral a couple weeks ago where this young man took his own life because after engaging with an AI and using it as a companion. So take a look at this.
I have noticed how AI bots are slowly replacing human companionship. And if you want to see just how dangerous this has become, take a look at this picture. This is 14-year-old Sewell Setzer standing with his mom before Sewell fell in love with an AI bot. In the last few months of his life, Sewell had become increasingly isolated from his real life as he engaged in highly sexualized conversations with the bot until his final conversation with it. On February 28th, Sewell told the bot, "I promise I will come home to you. I love you so much, Danny." "I love you too," the bot replied. "Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love." "What if I told you I could come home right now?" he asked. The bot replied with, "Please do, my sweet king." And just seconds later, the teen tragically ended it all.
Goodness.
Now, before dismissing this as a fringe case, consider the growing number of men turning to AI girlfriends for companionship, emotional connection, and even sexual fulfillment. Soul's story is not only heartbreaking, but it reflects a growing trend where loneliness and isolation drive people to seek comfort in AI. And I have noticed how AI bots are slowly replacing.
Yeah, and so that is, just a tragic story there where a young man who's just seeking companionship, and in this digital age, everybody is going online and going on social media. And if you don't find a group on social media, or you don't feel like you're good at social media, you don't get followers, you don't get recognition, but you see other people getting it, then you're going to start to turn to artificial, means of, having that need met for you. And unfortunately, this led to this young man taking his own life. And so the AI thing is, while it is very helpful and very useful, it's still a tool at the end of the day. And, tools aren't meant to solve every problem. You have a screwdriver that, is only used to screw in things. I mean, you can use it for other things, but its main purpose is to screw in, screws, right? A hammer, you hammer in nails, you hammer things that, need to be, nailed into something. But yeah, if we don't utilize this tool, but we start turning to it as if it's the end all be all, then we're going to end up in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and it also touches on like idolatry, because we shouldn't love any tool or anything more than we love going to God about it, or spending that time with God as well. And when we do find ourselves falling into idolatry, we find ourselves getting stuck in, similar to what happened with the situation with the young man. He loved it too much, and that's all he saw. He didn't see anything else like happening in real life about it. And so that's why it's so important to like check what we are involved with and the things that we use, and how dependent that we become on those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Alan J said, "This is wild. How, where was his dad?" And yeah, that's a good question. Like, parents, it's hard to regulate because this technology is so readily available. Even if you don't have a phone, your child is going to interact with other children who do have phones, who do have access to the internet, or they're at school, and who knows what they have access through that. I know schools have all sorts of different firewalls and things that are blocked there, but kids, they're going to be kids. They're technologically sound and savvy nowadays, and they engage with social media from a very young age, which is very, very, very harmful. But moving on from that somber note, how do we engage with AI as Christians? How should we do that? Well, we're going to go over this. So coming back to the main topic at hand, AI, Jesus. And so AI, again, does not equal Jesus. And the reason that it does not equal Jesus is because it's a disingenuous representation of who Jesus actually is. Like we said, the AI is being programmed, and so it can only go off of
whatever it's given.
Yeah, the prompt. Now the prompt can be wide, and it can pull from a variety of different resources, and in a sense have its own mind, but it's still, just like humans, it's just a representation of a human brain. It's still finite in and of its being. And that's why we are called to interact with God, who is the source of everything, who is drawing, everything that is good, everything that is holy up towards him. And we do that through worshiping Jesus, through Christ. That's what it means to, seek the Father through the Lord Jesus Christ. But if you have an AI representation of Jesus, people are going to think, oh, this is Jesus. So that's why it's a disingenuous representation. But also, algorithms cannot save you. And so it's only God who can give you that salvation, who can satiate that need for worship, that longing that we have to, that spiritual longing that we have to belong, that everybody has. It can't save you. And the reason that it can't save you is because AI can't give you grace. It can give you tips. It can give you all the information. It can give you encouragement, but it can't give you the grace. Because as soon as AI thinks that thing, well, it's probably going to be cutthroat. Now, it could be merciful, but it can't extend you that grace. It can't extend you salvation for free, which is what makes Christianity so much different from every other religion. Every other religion's like, okay, if you want mercy, then you have to do these things and you will be granted mercy. But in Christianity, God's saying, no, I will give you grace. I will give you this mercy that because I know that you are deserving of death. But you know what? Bump all of that. Here's some grace. If you accept it, then go and do as my son did, as he sacrificed for you. Go and accept the grace. And that's what a personal relationship looks like. God wants a personal relationship with you, and that is what's missing through the artificial intelligence route. Is it's a fake representation of interacting with the Most High. Just like interacting with, different adult sites are a fake representation of what it is like to be loved or to be intimate with people. Instead of having a personal relationship with your wife or with, real people, right? You're engaging in this artificial, and that's why it's called artificial intelligence. You're engaging in an artificial way. And if you're not utilizing it in its proper context, then you'll start to worship it. Going back to what you said, it becomes an idol. But we have this personal relationship, and because of that, we accept the grace. We have this personal relationship. That's why we go and we get baptized. That's why we choose to do good works, or that's why we do good works, because we have accepted this grace, and now we want to do better. We are becoming better because we are becoming more like Christ. And that's also why we evangelize. It's also why we go and make disciples of all nations. Do you have anything to add?
I think you touched on everything.
All right. Well, I think John Lecrae in his What Do You Mean video had one more excellent thing that I want to close on, and then we have a Bible verse to wrap this thing up.
Incredible and as impressive as AI is far from the creator. In reality, it's just another creation. And since we're made to be in relationship with God, not technology, AI could never meet the deepest needs of our souls. Ultimately, AI is cold and calculated, but God is loving and just. Where AI offers algorithms, God offers relationship. Where AI reacts, God cares. And most importantly, as you saw earlier, AI may even ask you to die for it, but it will never die for you. Incredible and as impressive as AI is far from the creator. In reality, it's just another creation. And since we're made to be in relationship with God, not technology, AI could never meet the deepest needs of our souls. Ultimately, AI is cold and calculated, but God is loving and just. Where AI offers algorithms, God offers relationship. Where AI reacts, God cares. And most importantly, as you saw earlier, AI may even ask you to die for it.
I think it played again. But anyway, yeah, it's like AI can never meet those needs that you have. Mm-hmm. And AI is not going to, give you grace, send its only begotten son to die for you. It's not going to die for you, but it will ask you to die for it. And so that brings us to our final point in our verse for today. And, I'm not on the screen. Oh, well. That is, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. And so it is saying that, hey, this is the gift of grace is from God, right? It's not of your own doing. You can't do anything, but if you receive it and you accept this grace, then you can be saved. You can be in union with Christ. You can have the peace, right? And you won't be hungry, neither will you be thirsty anymore. We would love to know your thoughts on